Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm not going to do one big job, but instead lots of little jobs, which consist of loads of little suggestions for improvements made by you, my wonderful viewers and subscribers. So, let's get started. Now the suggestion I want to start with is arguably the most important and the most frustrating because I didn't think of it at all, which just shows that nobody has the monopoly on good ideas and that I should definitely continue listening to all of you. Now the problem was that I couldn't fit my trains underneath my tram station, which currently just fit, whilst also using these wonderful stanchion pieces that will act as the cross beams between these lattice pillars. And that's a real shame because they're really fantastic, but they just descend too low. And I had been constrained by the fact that I wanted to keep my tram line 100% flat across its entire length, which is 14 bricks high. Now, the very simple suggestion, because I was only actually 2 plates short of the required height to get trains underneath it, was to add just a few more plates, and I've got lots and lots of black 2x2s to do this with, just under some of the stanchions towards the end. So effectively the entire line will ramp up incredibly slightly just before it gets to this station. And it's such a simple and elegant solution that it's genius, really. Now the reason I didn't think of that was because I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to this sort of thing. I don't like using third-party things and so on, though obviously everyone else is entitled to their own view. And as a result, I wanted to keep absolutely everything at exactly the same height. But I reckon 1 or 2 plates isn't going to even notice. And secondly, well, I think these are more important than that minor transgression. So I'm going to try and do it. Right, so that's the simple bit done first, the bit over the actual rail line, but it's worth checking before moving on that that's going to be all right. So we've got the pantograph just going under, which is the way I like it because it looks like it's going to hit, but then doesn't. Very exciting. And most importantly, the club car, which also now really easily fits underneath. So as long as I can get the ramp up to this area right, and the tram doesn't mind it at all, I think we'll be all right. Remember, this pillar's just a temporary one. Actually, I might as well check the tallest cargo thing while I'm at it, and that goes underneath as well. So far, this is a fantastic solution. I've just got to piece it all together and put a few single plate increases along the stanchions leading up to the station, so it has a gradient. Right, all back together. Not even that difficult. I've added just 1 plate to this stanchion and to this stanchion, and all the rest are exactly as they were. So the only final test, now we've already tested the trains, is to test that the tram is all right with all this. You know what? I don't think it even noticed. Fantastic! In some respects, I'm frustrated with myself for not having thought of that in the first place. But overall, I guess I'm just relieved that it works well and is going to dovetail with all my other ideas perfectly. Okay, so the next building that got a lot of suggestions for improvements was our snow sports store. And there are a couple there. One was to add to the massive 3D Yeti sign, which is genuine Lego for those that missed that video. It's from a old expedition set. So the suggestion was to add to that sign to make it even bigger and make it even more sort of snow sportsy by adding a few mountains made out of small burp pieces. So I've done that. I've made a pair of them and I'm just going to test them probably about there before pushing them fully down. And there's another one to go there, because obviously they're now quite tall and potentially getting in the way of that tram track. And then the other thing was to add something into the Yeti's hands. So this is a bit more delicate. I've got a pair of skis, which I can add as one into one hand. And if I pinch one of the snowboards, hopefully I can put that into the other hand. So he's kind of a Yeti with lots of deals on snow sports equipment. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the mountains. I'm not entirely sure about the skis. So you'll have to give me your feedback on those to see if we keep them. But I suppose what we definitely need to do is test that tram again. I think there should be enough clearance around here. Oh, that's tight. Really tight. But it does fit. Excellent. Next, a very quick one indeed, which is just adding the flamingo, which would be a sort of plastic solid flamingo, I suppose, from the Series 19 Gardener, which I'm going to assume is an inflatable, and add that to my massive heap of inflatables for sale at the Paradise Cafe and Surf Shop. Not that, there we are. So that's another colourful addition there. Thanks for that suggestion. Another tiny improvement was to add something to my Donut Fancy shop, which was actually the blackboard that came with the original shop, which has a croissant on there for £1, I suppose, since we're in the UK. And I thought I could just attach that usefully to the outside to almost sort of indicate maybe the special of the day. So I'll do that. Okay, I think that was a good suggestion. Thanks again. Right, next in line for the treatment is At Sweat, our wonderful gym. And a lot of the comments regarding this building were to do with its very plain white wall, especially on this side, but also on the side with the gingerbread advert. So I'm going to try and improve on that by adding a little more blue. So I've got a bag of blue plates and tiles, which should be enough to give it a stripe at the top and a stripe in the middle. So wish me luck with not destroying that. Right, I'm going to have to move to wobbly hands free to show you this one. So you can see I've put a double blue stripe on along the bottom there and a blue stripe along the top. And I kind of figure that looks mildly sporty. I may well put an advert in due course on this large white wall, but I think that double blue stripe does look a bit like sort of stripe on trainers and so on. And there's that blue stripe that actually ends in a air conditioning unit, sort of intake or something like that. But I think that little improvement does make it a little more interesting. It's almost a bit like another 3-coloured stripe like my Subway one, or indeed my new tram one as well. But that's not necessarily intentional. Good. I like it though. It's a good suggestion as well, so thank you. A few people said that one, so thanks to all of them. Now, another subscriber suggested something that's going to be even harder to reach, and that's changing the trans clear glass in one of the hotel windows to trans brown. And that will just give the impression that the lights are off and somebody is sleeping. So I quite like the idea. It's a bit of a stretch, like I say. I'm going to have to pull out the whole building and then put it all back. But I'm all for improvement. So again, wish me luck. Phew, so here we are. Hopefully you can see the difference. It's relatively subtle, but I think I like it. It's definitely not worth reversing. So the window just to the right of the balcony as we look at it is now with trans black glass rather than trans clear. And yeah, maybe it looks like the lights are out in that room. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Maybe I should have done another room as well. Right, on to the next of your suggestions. Another quick suggestion was on the skydivers, turning their hands horizontally so they'd be more spread out in a good formation to receive the remaining divers. I think that's worth a try. I'm going to give it a go. So currently they're stacked like that on top of each other. Just a little turn of the hands and it spreads them out quite a lot actually and makes them look a lot more realistic. They haven't stopped wobbling since I've changed them, but I do think that is a good improvement. Very subtle one, but I'm all for little improvements. Lots of little improvements make big improvements. Thank you again. Next in line was the new arcade for a few changes, and a few of you had a favourite, and most of you had the favourite that was the green one, which is actually the most hidden. So you asked that I bring that into a more prominent position, and I agree that's probably a good idea. I might swap it with one of the others. Many of you didn't like the red column. A few of you suggested there should be a bit more detail on the roof. I like the idea of adding a pattern spoiler, so I've added loads to my Bricklink wanted list, but I don't have one yet. And last but not least was to add a few fallen bikes from the people who have visited the arcade, which I like very much. Right, so I'm going to get on with the rest of those, and we'll have the Arcade Mark II up and running. Okay, and there are all the changes you requested. I think I agree with you. It looks a lot better now. Now for the final suggestions of the day, we're going back to our cinema premiere scene, where we've got the Palace Cinema and the film The Brick Separator receiving its world premiere with the Queen and some of the famous actors in that film. And what a lot of you thought was missing was a limousine. So I've got my limousine, which is actually a hybrid limousine between the two that Lego have done, the official ones. They're sets 3222, which is helicopter and limousine, and 60102, airport VIP service. Now I started off with the limo from the airport VIP service, but I did a few changes to it. I really liked the fact that the old one had this black windscreen piece rather than just a trans black one, so I wanted to incorporate that. I also liked the roof of the older one, which I've replicated as well. It does have some uncomfortable angles on it here and there, but I prefer it to the really blocky one of the second, more recent one. This has kept the newer wheels and the newer front end, which I like very much, but I've also changed it from both versions in adding things like the white mirrors as well. Now on the inside of this limousine, we have our VIP, who is a pop star, I'm presuming, who's just a guest, and he's got his white gloves on and he's got a fancy jacket with massive gold shoulder pads and his shiny reflective sunglasses. He looks a bit sort of like Michael Jackson, but can't be, can it? So there we are, and he's checking out his stocks and shares in his limousine while he's travelling. And there's the chauffeur, of course. So that will be the car of today. So I'll put the roof back on. All of its black glass. And obviously it's very long, this thing. We've got the door open for him to get out. and we'll have that just here. Now, in addition to that, we need paparazzi and press. So I'm going to set up a press cordon over here with some red rope sort of pieces. And then I'm going to have lots of the press, who are going to be all wearing their press torsos. And these are the sort of people from all those channels and newspapers and websites that write all the Hollywood gossip and all the rest of it. So they'll all be screaming for attention behind the red rope. Right, so we've got the limo. We've got the paparazzi behind their red rope cordon. There's even another fan there who's having a bit of an episode due to being excited. And in addition to the person that's in the limo, just about to get out, I thought I'd have the previous guest, which I thought could be someone from the band Aerobrick, just because of the logo on his shirt. And he's got really cool glasses and a really big smile. So that seems even more appropriate to me. So he's just done his interviews with the press and a lovely blonde anchor lady. And now he's joining the others in going in for the movie. Fantastic. I like it. This scene has got a lot more action and hustle and bustle to it now. I do think I could probably still add a bit more street furniture around sort of here and here to either side of the lights. But yeah, it's a good improvement. So I think all of these improvements have been absolutely fantastic. This channel really wouldn't be up to its full potential without your input. So thank you very much for all of your suggestions, and do keep them coming, because I think if anything we've proved today, it's that no one has the monopoly on good ideas, and that simple little suggestions like fixing the supports underneath this tram station has made a massive improvement. Add to that the improvements of our cinema scene, and the improvements to our at-sweat gym with these stripes and additional pieces of blue, the improvements to the recent arcade. I love the piled up bikes on the side, that's a really good touch. The improvements to our ski shop roof, which is really fantastic now, isn't it? I think I will keep those mountains, I think they look good. And all the smaller ones as well, not to forget them. So this channel really wouldn't be up to its full potential without you guys being part of it. So keep those suggestions coming. Then all that remains is for me to say, as always, thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, I think we'll go back to the beach, just because we've got to finish the structural work there, both so we can do all the buildings along the beach, but also so we can start the main railway station, which does actually build onto some of the backs of some of these plates. As you can see, it's a bit close to that railway line, so they're all interlinked. But anyway, see you next time!